One of the things that I don't want to happen ever to me is to be old, to be at that point where, physically you cannot do much. I still have my dreams unfulfilled in my mind, in my heart. It's one of the worst feelings that anyone could probably have. If you don't know how to start, start. I personally think that Saturdays are one of the most overrated exercise days ever anywhere in the world. On Saturdays, a lot of people, mostly because it's a weekend and fair enough, they have time. A lot of people come out to exercise, to run, to play football, and all other kind of stuff. I'm walking in my area, and there's a park by where I live. And it's Saturday and the boys are out playing football, just enjoying themselves. Could have joined them, but I'm not much of a player myself. But anyway, today I'm just trying to get back on track to my exercise routine. And back to the point, I'm just not trying to judge anybody, but I think the other days of the week, fairly because people have other commitments, mainly job, school, and other activities in their life. So most people, the number of people who come out to exercise are not as much as on weekends. But this video is not about it's not about exercising on a weekend or whatever, but I'll get to my main point in a bit. But like I was saying, I'm getting back to a routine. I sort of started one, trying to get 1,000 steps every morning, and I sort of fell off. One of the things I've realized about jogging is that when you look at the average or the savvy Ghanaian jogger, whenever you meet them, if you don't take it, you might feel like you're not a serious person. You're not serious about keeping fit. So the sort of savvy average Ghanaian jogger has on the savvy Ghanaian jogger, not the average guy like us. We just wear our shoe and we just step out. But the savvy joggers, you see them in their joggers, they have a smartwatch to monitor heart rate, the pulse and the steps that they are taking. And then they have their earphones for the music to set the ambience and to set the mood for what they are, for the jogging. And then some have all these packs by their shoulders to strap on their phones and all that, and other fancy gadgets and gear to make the walk epic. I once knew this guy. He was actually my boss at work. I'm not gonna mention his name, maybe. So what this guy did, actually for him, what he did, it made his runs more effective. So he strapped bags of sand to his arms and to his legs to weigh him down and then run. So he sort of ran, but with weights. That guy was on another level. Maybe I'll get there one day. Sure, most of you by now, you may have guessed where I live. Thankfully, the roads in my area, most of them are tarred, and so it makes going for a walk or a run. Quite a pleasure. Now, one of the things I noticed back then when I used to keep to my routine was that I'd meet a few people that were also on the morning run, and these people sort of became familiar faces that I would meet each time I would go on my runs. And then one of the mornings, one of these elderly ladies that I used to pass by during my walks, stopped me and asked me, so there's this stretch that when I leave my home and I get on that stretch, it's quite, I'm not so conversant with the meters and kilometers and stating how long the road is, but it's quite a long stretch. So on this stretch, I'd go to the end of that stretch and come back every morning like 6 times. I'd go to the end, that would be one, come back to my starting point, that would be the second, and do that for about 6 times. And when I do that, I know I'm just a couple of steps left with reaching my goal for the day. And so by the time I walk back home, I would have clocked my 10,000 steps. So this elderly woman meets me and asks me, I see you go and come every day. How many times do you go on that stretch? Because I think she also uses that stretch. She also goes and comes. So I answered that I do that 6 times. He said, whoa, 6 times? You're doing well. Wow, fantastic. And that's how I got to know her. So now, each time I use that stretch and I would go up and down, I would sometimes meet her. We'll smile and give ourselves a hi, and thumbs up across the road, and then be on our way. This is how I check my steps whenever I'm on my run. I have this app called the pedometer, and it's so basic. It just keeps track of my steps. So whenever I'm walking, after a couple of walks, I pull out this app and then I just check where my steps are at the moment. So at the moment I'm at 2,000, just a little bit over 2,700 steps. And I have quite a lot more to go. So I've just reached the end of my stretch, so I have turned and I'm heading the other way. As I was filming, I've got a lot of eyes looking at me, wondering what the hell this guy is doing. But it reminds me of this proverb, Ghanaian proverb. Ghanaians, we are an amazing group of people. We have such unique characteristics that makes us who we are. So there's this proverb in Ghana that says that Ghana for Yisrasem, the Pasem Srasem. Like we are very inquisitive, but yet we fear matter. That's the we are very inquisitive, but yet we fear matter. That's what the proverb or the idiom means. But anyway, people they're curious, trying to find out what's going on, what's this guy up to. In sharp contrast, I did my master's in the UK, and for the 3 years that I stayed in the UK, I had this other channel called the Global Scholar. Maybe you should check it out. I'll link it below if you're interested. So with this channel, what I did was that I would go to schools universities in the UK, and then I'll tour the universities and check them out and make a video out of it. And sometimes at the end of these videos, what I'll do is that I'll go to the city where the university is located in, and then I'll do a city tour. One of the things I learned quickly about the UK and the people there living there is that nobody cares. I'm telling you, nobody cares. Like, nobody, they don't care about you. So that has even sort of built my confidence in filming, like taking out my camera and be able to film boldly in public. Because I realized that these people, they don't care who you are. They will not even lift up their heads to see that you have a camera whipped out and you are filming. They're about their lives, man. So, but that's just a sharp contrast to how life is in Ghana. Ghanaians are, we were ready. Oh my goodness. It's hilarious. Now, the subject that I want to talk about, in fact, this video probably is about is starting again. And I think that when you've had a lot of failures, when you've fallen down so many times, when you've had a lot of setbacks, starting again, whatever that is, it's so difficult. And I'll use my life as an example that I say that starting again hasn't been the most fun thing for me. But at the end of the day, I want to try. And especially when you are nearing your 40s or you are in your 40s and you have a lot of reflection about life, you think that time has gone by so much. By the way, I'm not 40, I'm just nearing 40. You think that time has flown by, you've lost a lot of opportunities, and you sort of get locked in this mindset that it's over for me and I don't want to bother myself again after I've tried so many times and it's not gone down well for me. But I think that the mentality that you and I have to have is have to keep trying and try one more time, because you never know which one is that very one. And I will not bore you with stories that you probably know, but for me, I want to start again. And what is it that I want to start? In 2016, I started content creation. I've loved content creation. It's something that I'm so passionate about, but I know it's also a word that these days a lot of people throw about casually. Yeah, I'm a content creator, but I'm not attacking anybody, by the way. But my point is, I got in early, or at that point, I thought I was, well, not I thought, I was quite early, because not many people were into content creation as of 2016. Not many people had seen that this is something they could do full time, and I was very early. I created my first YouTube channel, actually on this very channel. And the theme of my channel was people, places, and passions. So my focus was to talk to people and get out their stories, passions, unique places, stories, places oozing with stories, and then report it on my channel. So I did a couple of videos along the way, and this happens probably to everybody, that things in my life got in the way, which by the way are not excuses, but life just happened to me that probably I cannot share on this channel. But I had to shelve it and look at my family. Give priority to my family and focus on family. But never in a day throughout that time did I lose my passion for making film or creating content. It's something that till today has never left me. In October of 2020, I left Ghana to go and do my master's. And before I left, I was at a crossroads. I had money that I was going to pay my fees, and UK university fees are expensive. They cost an arm and a leg and a liver. Sometimes your spleen and a kidney. So I was at that crossroads. I was about to pay my fees and begin my studies, but I had been thinking about it for days. So after 2016, for 4 years after I put a hold on my channel, creating content, I sort of saw a wave coming that people were getting into content creation, that this is something that is going to be huge. And I had this dream of building a studio, creating content, helping other creators, creating a space where creators can come, we can create content and just do the things that we love. But I also wanted to do my master's, and at that time it looked like pursuing the master's program was a sure bet, and the dream of building the studio was like a higher risk. I will say that everything happens for a reason. I will not regret my decision to have done my master's. It's helped me in ways I cannot imagine. Eventually I went to school, but the love for content creation did not stop. And during my time in university, I started content creation again. I created a YouTube channel, another YouTube channel called The Global Scholar, like I was saying earlier. And when I started that, I didn't know that it was something that would lead to something way bigger than I thought. In the end, I taught several universities in the UK, made several videos. And the highlight of that for me was one of my videos about the University of Edinburgh. It now has over 100,000 views. And every time I look back on these videos, I feel so proud of myself. But the point that I'm trying to make is that even after returning home to Ghana, it's almost about 2 years now, I felt that I have to start again. I felt that I can't start again. I can't pursue that dream of building the studio that I once envisioned and had a passion for. So now I have all sorts of cameras and gadgets, bought lights, equipment, ready to move into a space and to pursue that dream of operating a studio, create a studio where I can walk in and create content easily. When you've lost momentum, when you've lost time, when you've lost opportunity, and you are in a space of reflection and thinking that, no, I can't do this, the opportunity is gone, there is nothing that should stop you from trying again. Who knows, I could never have had any success at that time. And even now, with technology getting better, content creation platforms and tools getting better, this probably is the best time. One of the things that I don't want to happen ever to me is to be old, to be at that point where physically you cannot do much and still have my dreams unfulfilled in my mind, in my heart. It's one of the worst feelings that anyone could probably have. So I guess all I'm trying to say is that if you don't know how to start, start. I love this profound saying by Arthur Ashe that says, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. It's the most profound statement ever for me, for anybody who wants to do anything, but you just don't know where to begin. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Oh yeah, we're working it, baby. Work it, work it. All right, 10,000 steps achieved, goal hit for the day. And on this note, I'm going to sign out from this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Bye.